prefer to be Brindle. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am doing a quick calibration test and also saying hello to all those warm folks coming right on in. YouTube and Twitch are looking clean so far. If there are any audio concerns, now is the time to mention it so we can adjust before we get started here in just a moment. But I look forward to hanging out with you, answering your questions, and just having a good time. Greetings and welcome to the EVERSPACE 2 stream. What a cut. Oh my gosh, just like boom. Music, now it's just me. Hello. Oh my goodness. My name is Eric Schrader. I'm the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. I've tweaked my sounds a little bit further, so hopefully the audio is coming through loud and clear. If you still think my mic sounds a little bit too quiet, let me know and I'll see if I can't bump that up another little notch or two. But otherwise, it's great to have you all. Got a lot of people jumping in here, my goodness. So hello YouTube, hello Twitch. It's always a pleasure to be here for you guys. Oh my goodness. So let me give you the quick rundown of what this stream is going to be built around. Mostly, per usual on these Fridays, we make these streams about the community. It's for you guys. So we're going to be answering questions the entire duration of this stream. These questions can be all over the place. Just know that we still have over a year's worth of development ahead of us. So we're not going to be able to like cleanly answer your questions. We do want to be as transparent as possible though. So if you have concerns or otherwise anything that sort of stood out from what we've revealed so far, we are more than happy to provide more clarification on any of those details. Awesome. So pertaining to what you'll see on the screen, we are playing through the beta, the closed beta. I'm going to be starting from scratch. I decided, what the heck? I want to start over. It's always fun to go through this tutorial. I find a lot of joy out of it. And then going into the missions, it just gives a really good sense of where you'll be when you start off, what you can get acclimated to, see those rich results just right on the fly, and obviously also prevent a nice discussion point should you desire it. So, woo, good stuff. We also are going to be talking about two different questions that we got recently. There was one discussion in Discord about the doctor character. Wanted to touch on that a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then there was another one about Eva, which we can actually talk about Eva right now. We actually have an official response on Eva. Long story short, if we were to implement Eva into our game space, like if we were to take a super detailed approach to cities or even like the mining facilities that you already see present in the game, the ones that are already there. If we were to take that and add more detail for, you know, walking around, for example, we are talking literal $1 million that we would need for a budget in order to bring that to fruition. And that's not even talking about the development time that it would take in order to bring that into the experience. So please hear me when I say EverSpace's focus, EverSpace 1 and 2, frankly, their focus is entirely from the spaceship. You are the ship, be the ship, okay? It is not meant to be this sort of like super crazy space sim where you are a body that dives in and out of all these different ships and vehicles and massive cruisers and houses and all the type of stuff. Like, it is a ship, spaceship looter shooter in an open world RPG setting, all right? Cool. Hopefully I don't have to say that too many more times. But just know that there's a huge impact that takes on development, of course. Like, I mean, if you don't know that the scope behind $1 million and a couple of years of development, man, I trust that you understand, but truly, we have a very specific vision for what we're aiming for. We've gotten a lot of powerful feedback that has supported this vision, and that's why we're focused on those spaceships, and we're not gonna even touch Eva, all right? Cool. Oh yeah, people were asking about what EVA stands for. Like, what's EVA? Extravehicular activity. So, a really common trait that a lot of people talk about what EVA is, it's whenever you go down to a planet and then you get out of your ship. So we could throw No Man's Sky as a direct example of that, right? Like, that is, you are literally a person and then everything else around you is what you're interacting with. Whereas in EverSpace 2, you are the spaceship and everything around you is what you're interacting with, right? So just kind of know that's where the bounds and the limitations are, but also where we can put a lot of emphasis on. So yeah, excellent. Now that that's out of the way, let's actually play. Let's show you what this is all about, and let's have a good time. Woo! Excellent audio, good to hear. Good to hear.
approaching extraction area. All miners stay in formation. Wingman, you take up the rear.
Understood.
Okay, so also I have to do one thing because Boss Man pointed out. Gosh dang it, Boss Man. What I'm gonna try and do. No, I can't do that. I'm trying to figure out how to how to clip out this green screen issue that I've been having for I don't even know how long. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should actually man up and buy an actual green screen. Maybe it's about time. But I'll tell you what, my mother did a lovely job, okay? She's a fantastic at sewing. We got some nice green fabric, okay? So don't you knock my mother. Don't bring my mother into this. Anyway, so we're gonna deal with it this stream, but you know what? Dang it, you see this little black thing? Say sayonara to it soon, because it's not gonna be showing up anymore in the future. Because dang it, I'm sick and tired of it too. All right. Yeah, the only thing is I don't have anything heavy to like grapple onto it at the moment, so we'll just have to deal with it this stream. All right, anyway, this is the opening of EVERSPACE 2. Welcome. Oh my goodness. So we are flying in space with some instructions on the screen.
Scrap.
What's wrong?
Boosts are jammed. Could need a push.
Hey Ben, we've got a clunker back here.
Good old G&B engineering. Let's meet near his ship.
Any idea what it is?
Just a laggy jump drive. There you go. Good as my granny's creaky old knee.
Thanks, Ben.
I'm nearly out of nanobots. Say, how's your ship holding up?
Just the usual wear and tear. Don't tell me you want to run another mobility check.
Can't risk you breaking down in the middle of a fight, can I?
Well, alright. Knock yourself out.
First show me two nice healthy strafes. Left and right.
So per any sort of tutorial mission, we want to make sure that you know how much control you have over your vessel. As I've already said like a billion times and will continue to say, this game is all about your ship. And as such, you have to have precise control over that. So here we're introducing lateral thrusting.
There. And there.
What about your hover thrusts?
Man, I can so hear you smile.
Isn't it nice to have someone who cares for a change? Now some rolls.
So as you can see, we want to make sure you are well equipped to move exactly the way that you need to in any combat situation or even explorative environment.
1, 2.
Finally, I need one last strafe. With a boost to the right.
And this bit, I'm actually really happy with our results here. In EVERSPACE 1, you could only boost forward, but in EVERSPACE 2, you can actually use your lateral thrusters to also boost in those directions.
As rocket dodges go, I'd give you a 4 out of 9. Yeah, you're in good enough shape for the junk pile you're floating.
Try telling that to Callahan. I bet 10 creds that if we don't catch up, he'll threaten to remove this shift from our tally.
Nah, he's a jerk but not that bad. I take that bet.
Let's not keep him waiting then.
All right. So now we're gonna...
You already picked a home world?
Perfect.
Not yet. Don't know much outside of the DMZ.
Once you get your pass, you'll need to tell them something. How about Eden 12? Ridiculous name, but I heard they terraformed themselves some decent mountain lakes. Man, I can almost smell the fresh air.
Well, if it isn't our two slackers, 5 seconds longer and I would have removed this shift from your tally.
What's the situation?
There's a Hydra infestation clogging up the entrance, and since you're the one that gets paid for handling these things, I thought I'd let you earn your creds.
I'm on it.
All right, so I see a question right out of the gates. Will we be able to avoid buying ships entirely and just work out way up with the part ladder, so to speak, piece by piece? Technically, Rob, you could actually do that. With the base ship, you could just effectively play through and just re-outfit your ship over time through the whole game. Yeah, that's completely possible. I'm not sure I would recommend it, because I think that you would then miss out on a lot of opportunities that other ships, specifically different subclasses of different classes, would provide you as a player.
Nice.
But yeah, you could do that.
The wingman goes in first and secures the path to the core. The engineer will follow with some distance in case anything needs fixing.
How much distance?
Enough to make a U-turn should he run into trouble. The rest will wait outside with me until I give the signal.
Alright, I'm going in.
Excellent.
Looks like the last shift never left.
EVERSPACE 2 is introducing a lot more interior spaces. Something we really loved in the, I believe it was the update 0.4 to EVERSPACE 1 was the inclusion, maybe it was 0.3. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the updates. We added interior spaces.
Ships. That's not foreboding at all.
I'd say a group of miners ran
I'll
into
let
a
them talk.
pack of outlaws, which ended bad for both sides.
I wonder how long they've been here.
Well, the Hydra had time to spread but haven't devoured them yet, so I'd say it happened less than 48 hours ago.
Scrap.
Might want to consider that U-turn. Some of the outlaws might still be alive.
Forget Callahan. I can take care of myself.
All right, so what I was saying is that, actually I kind of forgot what I was saying. Goodness, how dare these characters interrupt my train of thought? But basically, man, what was I even talking about? Wow!
One of the fighters seems to have blown the entrance to the core. Let's hope my missiles can blow it back open.
Man, I'm actually impressed right now with my train of thought, because I was thinking, and then I thought about their conversation, and then I looked over the chat about the beautiful technology in computing, and I was like, oh man, that's a really cool upgrade, and how these individuals are saving up for, you know, more powerful PCs, because we're looking to have a pretty solid looking game, and if you've got a beefy computer, we're gonna maximize the abilities on that. But holy cow. I apologize. Legitimately can't remember what I was just talking about.
Sense that might still be in there.
We'll see.
Ah, that's what it was. It was interior spaces. EVERSPACE 1 introduced the Colonial Derelict Station later after the initial development phase, okay? And the reason why this is significant, the reason why this is important is because it transformed how you are then exploring in the game space of EVERSPACE 1. Before that point, you barely had to navigate inside of anything. You had a couple of large asteroids, and that was basically it. Otherwise, you were just flying through space. Now, you had certain hazards that could change things up visually, but otherwise, it was still all in space. By creating these smaller structures, it gave a strong incentive for the player to master their navigation and their controls over their vessel. And that also invoked an entirely new system through what were they called? Enhancements, subroutines specifically for the Colonial Derelicts, for the player to then have even more incentives to go into those small spaces. So it's not like you saw them and was like, oh, I'm not gonna go there, it's really difficult. You know, like there was a very powerful method moving forward in helping the player get acclimated to these tight spaces that you had to navigate around. Like, long story short, EVERSPACE 2, we took that and we just said, we want to do this so much more. We want to do this frequently. We want to make this an incredible experience, something that's meaningful. So it's not something where you have just like this little tiny box that you go in one room, you go down a little hallway, you find the treat, and then you're done. We wanted to create spaces much like you see here, and this opening sequence, the tutorial, this is one large asteroid that we have flown into and are navigating, and then you'll see us fly out of it. And it's all one interconnected space, meaning we could actually fly around outside as well. It's all one big space. A lot more territories like this are coming in EVERSPACE 2.
Wait here until I've had a look inside.
Man, please watch yourself in there.
All right. Will there be ancient technologies or even ships later in the game? We have not really spoken too much on ancient technologies, or otherwise known in EVERSPACE's franchise as the Ancients. But I would be surprised if we didn't hear about them at all. We'll see what development does. Regarding new ships later in the game, oh, absolutely, my friend, absolutely. It would not make any sense for us to do something like this without giving you an option
Finally,
of
my
different
rescue
ships to
squad
pilot
Confirmed.
and
I have
customize.
no idea who you are.
Hey, Beauty and Beast scum. This will take care of you.
This Outlaw Ravager is not going to give me too much trouble because we are very over-leveled here.
Let's hope that was the last one. Everyone, the risk meter just went way up. There were outlaws here and maybe more on their way.
All the more reason to work fast.
They could be here any minute.
So what? We've still got the armed patrol outside. Let's get to work, people. We got quotas to fill.
Ben, I don't like this. That guy was not just some low-level grunt. He even had a custom-built coil gun.
I know. I already placed some sensors in the shaft in case anyone shows up.
Good call. And I'm gonna hold on to the coil gun. Let's hope we won't need it.
Pertaining to that question, I maybe sort of interpret it a little differently. Just talking about different ships later in the game, yes. Ancient ships later in the game? Well, you also have to keep in mind that as we are going through this game space, we want to make sure that the ships make sense to combine through the technologies left over from the Okar colonial conflict. And a lot of that is meaning that the colonial equipment that was left over is going to synergize with itself, right? So we're taking ship parts from a lot of different colonial leftovers and just making something brand new, customizing it to our liking. The Okar, an alien race that is a native to the cluster, their energies and their technologies are actually quite different than what we see from the colonials. And as such, making those work together is not exactly what I would call easy. If there was any type of exploration with that, we would see that more probably through the itemization system as opposed to the ship itself, but you never know. We'll have to see what time allows and what the desires are from our communities, and also what expansion we want to make to our vision that we currently have. So just that quick comparison. One other thing regarding cursed loadouts, that's an interesting question. You can certainly make loadouts that hinder you in some regards, but make you super strong in others. And that's just going to be those traditional trade-off mechanics that I'm sure that you're accustomed to in any looter shooter. Say you maximize your firepower, but your structure is just absolutely terrible. So you're a glass cannon, for example. Very basic example. But in regards to, like, I mean, I don't know how crazy cursed you're talking, but
I don't want any crystals to end up in the wrong pockets.
But nothing that's going to like destroy you quickly, I wouldn't say. Like, we want to make sure that there's a lot of viable options
Dead guys rescue squad. And
that
if
you
they
can
spot our
optimize over
patrol
time.
Outside, they won't just come in with medics.
Son of a lizard.
All right, I want everyone to stay calm and clear of the walls. I got this. Darn my damn pass.
Chief, you hear? Scrap. More miners. They got here first.
Don't worry. More ransom booty to line our pockets. Let's reel them in.
Keep moving, everyone. I'll lock onto them and let my missiles do the rest. Only one left. That's it. Everyone all right?
We're okay.
Hal, take my last nanobots. You'll need them. My sensors are lighting up. There's more of them coming down the main shaft.
Let's take the fast lane and bust through that drill.
So you're introduced to some light combat situations here, much like you would in any tutorial, to make sure that you are still on your toes. But trust me when I say we don't want to throw you too far into the fire here at first, because that would be rude. Who likes diving into a game and then dying instantly within like a couple of seconds? I don't think that's basically anyone. So, obviously, we're introducing you to challenges slowly over time, and then that will build up. You'll even see that
Patrol better be doing their job
really
out there.
here in this section where we have you face off against multiple enemies at once, but they're all super low level.
They're slaughtering the escort.
God damn it.
You all try to slip past. I'll keep them busy. More of them.
So the intention here is to just help you hone in on your skills of tracking targets, firing at them, navigating around the game space, maybe experimenting with the different weapons that you get. You do have a pulse laser versus a coil gun. So one shows you how you have to lead your targets, and the other one is a direct firing weapon.
Scrap, my engine's overheating.
And of course, you can still fire missiles here to see how they
See you
work.
at the base.
Hey, you can't just leave me here.
Sorry, Ben.
How long till you can jump again?
Engine's too hot. First it needs to cool down.
I'll buy you some time.
So all pretty straightforward things that you would expect from a tutorial. We can also see a little bit of the advanced situations you could come across in the future. Now, obviously, because I'm a little bit experienced at the game, I can take this guy out with too much problem. But overall, this is an introduction for some of the larger vessels that you're going to come across through your playthroughs.
All the way out to the cockpit.
And they do have
Use
weak
the
points.
extinguisher.
They do
Reduce
have
oxygen.
unique targets
You
and
got
areas
this.
on them.
I got this. I got this.
So it's not going to just be flying against dogfights.
Oh no.
Ben,
I'm burning for Sol's sake.
hold on tight. I'm on my way.
Any way to lock the reticle with mouse control? Actually, I think we have that option. If we don't, I would be surprised if we didn't change that. Because we actually had that feature in EVERSPACE 1. I'm not seeing it at the moment, but I am quite confident that we will have basically a center the mouse cursor option in the future.
Nah.
Almost there. Ben, are you okay? What the hell was that? All systems are down.
Move. Inside. Damn it! You're wasting your energy. This place is sealed tight, blocked by a force field. Just sit tight and make the best of it.
Looks like they threw you quite a welcome party.
I've been here for quite a while already. Just a regular checkup on what I might know. Where did they grab you? Your outfit looks like G&B work crew.
You guessed it.
The guys here got no style. Bunch of amateurs. They'll be looking to get the best price for you.
So given your professional opinion, you know a lot about outlaws.
Hell, I know a lot more than they'll ever get from me. You hear me? Newcomer.
Where's my friend? Where's my buddy E9?
He's in the med bay. For now, maybe he'll live long enough to fetch a good price. Your DNA scans show that you are a military clone pilot. I thought they were all gone after the war. I wonder what your face value is. What if I broadcast your profile?
That would be a bad idea. You may not like who will come looking for me.
Why would I heed advice from a clone? I know my business. Interesting.
powers? Yeah, kind you want me dead.
Power outage. The force field is down. This is our chance. Let's try to pry the door open. Help me, grab the door. Oh! Let's get the hell out of here while they're distracted. This way to the hangar.
Wait! I'm not leaving without my friend.
Don't be an idiot. He's a dead man. Okay, get your friend, but hurry.
Hey, E9!
What's happening?
It's our chance to get out of here. Come on!
Forget it, man. I'm done for.
No way. I'm getting you home. We're here. Let's go.
I might have more luck with a clone pilot at my side.
Okay, so couple things. It's gonna keep talking.
Watch out.
You may call this a warning shot. Attackers are advised to disengage at once.
It's the damn colonials.
Colonials. All right.
We'd better stick together if we want to make it out of us alive.
Get ready to jump.
No dice. Our drives are jammed.
There's a jump suppressor down there.
All right, so we're getting into this mission, but we got a number of good questions, so let's just zip through them and we'll answer them all. So we have a couple on YouTube saying, so many ship varieties. Can we talk a little more about drone buddies now? Nope, not yet. Not yet. I know that some people really loved the way that we could control drones in EVERSPACE 1. Long story short is that we are going to bringing back some elements of that, and maybe you're going to see some entirely overhauled systems, but it's still too early to reveal anything in that nature. So I'll just need to hold tight a little bit longer. So thanks for your patience on that. Will we see sniper type enemies? Absolutely. The Outlaw Sniper drone in EVERSPACE 1 is more or less returning in EVERSPACE 2, but it's been refined. It's a bit more mean. So you'll definitely be seeing that to have to deal with. Bullying a level 3 destroyer at level 10. You know it. Absolutely. Let's see. I'd love to see some bigger enemy vessels armed with flat guns and turrets. I think that you won't be disappointed. Let's see. Enemies did and can attack you at really far ranges. This is true. Will there be ray tracing? Sort of. So we have made sure that the modern day technologies are going to make EVERSPACE 2 shine in the best way possible. We don't want to do anything that's going to overkill it, to especially limit the accessibility factor for anybody who's got their own styled, built PC. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't want to make our game like exclusive to like how much money you've spent on your computer. So the setups that we are utilizing and the ray tracing that we are taking advantage of are here and there. So the answer is yes, but sort of. So let's see, we have how big will be the large scale battles? We're not looking to have large scale battles, mind you. Yes, we are going to be flying around through various systems and even seeing factions engage in all out battles, yes, but at the end of the day, we're not looking to have some sort of like space battle simulation here where you're one fighter in the midst of like something you'd see out of the beginning of Star Wars Episode 3, right? Where you have like 50 capital ships on both sides and just like thousands of squadrons just pew, 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 right? Like no, we're not gonna do that. We will see conflicts arise where you'll have like maybe a couple capital ships, yes, but the scope overall, I would be incredibly surprised if you were to see something more than like 50 or 60 ships on the screen at once. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let's see, would you consider adding a sandbox mode similar to, okay, yeah. So yeah, no, actually we've talked about a sandbox mode before. It hasn't come up recently because our priorities are very different for what early access needs to look like. Doesn't really make sense for us to provide a sandbox mode in the game yet. So that would probably be something we would consider down the line through early access, if it's applicable to the design directions that we're making. But also know that being an open world experience, there's going to be a lot of decision making where the player, you, can choose where you're going and how you're interacting with this world that you're a part of. And through that, you're more than happy to venture back to those softer areas to lower the difficulty and just kind of screw around and have fun, pick up jobs, you know, go cruising through space and on your time as opposed to the game's. All right, so now let's address some other things coming on the other side. Let's see. Actually, this is mostly discussions about settings that people are using. So that's good. Community is engaging really nicely on Twitch. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Is it possible to take out that colonial ship out there if you are very good at shooting and dodging? So we actually are designing the opening segments to where you can't. I guess the short answer is plot armor. So no, you can't take out that colonial ship. That would create some major problems with our storytelling arcs. But we also want to make sure that we reward skilled pilots, right? So you can absolutely, I can absolutely guarantee that there will be challenges that are far beyond the level you are at in the game. And if you are skilled enough, you can actually overcome them. You can actually take them on and be victorious to navigate some really great rewards earlier in your play just because you have that skill and that capability. At the same time, we're not forcing that upon you. If you want to go the standard narrative-driven experience or branch off and do your own thing, like I previously mentioned, and go to those softer areas, you're more than happy to do that too. Play the game at your pace. Don't let the game force it upon you, all right? And we don't want the game to force that upon you. If you try anyway, what happens? Well, in this particular version, it's not really exciting. It basically misses you with all its shots because you're level 1, and if it were to hit you, you would basically instantly die. So yeah, I mean, that's still something that's more like a balancing thing. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that this dangerous looking ship is actually dangerous to you. And if you want to screw around and be like, what happens? You do in fact die, and the story ends and you have to restart. You know, it'd be like, I mean, just think of any story, any narrative in any video game where the protagonist is supposed to do some specific mission, and right out of the gate, you change it to where he doesn't do that. Like, it just alters the entirety of the story. I mean, it's not like we're building out 50 different endings. So, yeah, you're gonna die.
Jumping is still suppressed. My sensors detect 2 more. Let's find them and get out.
Just stay out of view of that cruiser.
Oh, actually, Shuzan puts it in an incredibly elegant way. Try to break the game, and it will break you.
Careful with the shaking.
Sorry.
Maybe not in the current beta, though, but the full release. You get the picture.
You can't destroy a suppressor. Fly close and hack in. That's the way to go.
You love the temporary voices? Yeah, we get that a lot. And you know what? We aren't, it's not like we don't like them, but they, in comparison to, I mean, we've done a little bit of voice acting work already. We even had a video posted on some of that voice acting work in our Kickstarter update recently. And yeah,
this
so...
is our last warning. Scans are being initiated on all units. Hand over the clone. We will find him either way.
It's you they're after.
I told the gas mask not to broadcast my profile. Let's finish this and get the hell out.
So just comparing the text-to-speech versus the voice work that we have, like, we have an all-star team for voice actors.
We've identified you, Mr. Roslin. I'd suggest you submit your sentinel without struggle.
Hold on tight, pal. We're about to enter super light.
Oh man.
Like, it's not even a comparison for us. Like, it's night and day. But a lot of people have complimented the text-to-speech, so maybe we'll include it anyway in some degree or capacity. But we really don't want you to miss out on the voice work either.
You okay, Ben? maxed out.
They're tracking us. You need to disconnect your nav. Now.
I can't fly blind.
Do it.
Okay, display's white. Now what?
I'll give you some codes. 1 second. There. See that sweet shiny marker? That's our way out. I've seen clones fight before, but man, not your first dance. You're a goddamn prima ballerina. What's your name, pal?
It's Adam. And that's Ben in the back. He really needs a medic.
The only medics out here work for G&B, and that's not where you want to be right now. Not with a fleet warrant on your head.
Scrap. We were so close to leaving the DMZ.
Let me guess. You had one of those colorful G&B retirement plans?
Yeah.
Well, plans are for fools, my friend. I'm Dax, by the way. Let's get your friend into stasis in my old hideout. Haven't been back in a while. Let's hope that the old rust pile hasn't fallen apart.
Excellent. So we just flew by this planet. We are flying towards this location that Dax pinged us towards, labeled as home base, because that's where we're going to set up shop. We have a question, a very observant question. It says, will the outlook of the enemy ships change with their levels since it's an RPG? And I am very happy to report that higher enemy levels isn't just going to be a statistical difference. So like a level 1 scout versus a level 10 scout isn't going to just mean that the level 10 scout does more damage and can take more damage. We do want to make sure that there is a meaningful result pertaining to the leveling systems in place. So you can absolutely see newfound abilities show up on higher level enemies.
Adam, Dax and the severely wounded Ben arrive on an abandoned military outpost which was once Dax's hideout. Dax guides Adam through the base to the bridge. There, they realize that there is a problem with the main reactor which needs to be repaired. Dax explains that they can place the wounded Ben in a cryopod for the meantime. While carrying Ben to the medical bay, they discuss what needs to be done with the base. The cryopod will hold Ben until they can find power and medical supplies to cure him. Adam insists on knowing more about Dax's background and long-term plans. Dax, however, asks Adam to be more patient and trusting, and promises that more information will come. Adam, although suspicious, realizes he has few people he can count on.
A lot of stuff needs fixing.
Yes.
But we're still good on resources to patch up our ships or refill our ammo should things go south. There's also some space in the storage unit, so feel free to dump your cargo whenever it's getting cramped in that Sentinel.
What about the generator?
Here's the list of what we need to fix it.
Scrap metal, a cooling unit. All pretty straightforward.
The cooling unit could be a problem. Check out the nearby debris field. That's your best shot at finding one. By the way, I took the liberty of installing 2 devices into your ship, an EMP generator and an energized boost.
Huh, that might come in handy. Thanks.
Some little information about devices. We are going to have a lot of pop-ups like this for first introductions of various systems that you will be acquiring throughout the game. And you know, this is just kind of explaining how devices work in the beta. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That is, in fact, you know, work in progress stuff, so things can change. But otherwise, we have our first true mission here where we need to find and collect a bunch of stuff. Excellent. Alexa asking about a character will never be reached. Well, yeah, I mean, that is a sound conclusion because we do not own the rights to that character anymore. So why would we put a character that would, like, literally violate the law, right, if we implemented them into our game? We're not about that lifestyle. Let's see. We have the cutscenes sounded like they were voice acted. The first one, in fact, did have voice work at the very start. Whenever we were captured. You're right, David. However, all these other ones, they are work in progress placeholders. And that first one that you heard is not done either. So that was more of a situation of we wanted to have a nice presentation of the first cutscene in the game, and it made sense to put proper voice acting in place. Can you blame us? Let's see. I saw a question about the number of handcrafted environments in the game. versus procedurally generated, and I am very pleased to say that basically everything in this game is in fact handcrafted. Even when you're flying, whoops, wrong button. Even when you're flying around the space and you find a randomized location, we put those random locations together, and we have a number of them stored up, and you could get one of these random handcrafted locations. We do use procedural generation for spawn points for enemies and various things like that, but for the most part, we're not using any sort of formula like we did in EVERSPACE 1, where it generates the area for you, okay? So it's very, very different system in place. And then obviously we have these larger areas too, where everything is hand placed to make sure there's meaningful exploration that rewards you, as well as secrets and other little nuances like that you can gain the benefits of, which are a little bit harder to do, actually a lot harder to do from a procedural standpoint. So speaking of hidden secrets and whatnot, this is one of them. If you spend the time to go over here, you'll see this crack in the wall. And we're able to grab ourselves a bulletproof container and our first cargo unit. And a cargo unit is one of the module types in the game. Ooh, when picking up loot, immediately start to recharge the shield. That is a great attribute on the cargo unit. I will gladly take that. So now we have that attribute associated with our ship. We have 4 more cargo slots, boom, 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 boom. And we also, we have some dismantling yield and quality adjustments, which doesn't really come into place yet through the beta. But soon, TM. Somebody asked about, so we're going into the lore a little bit, about the station and the cryopod, like wouldn't it be depowered? Well, it depends. There are a lot of factors into place that may or may not provide any energy into that base, depending on how long it's been run down, depending on any sort of internal power sources. Yeah, it's definitely got some struggles, as you saw in the cutscenes. Like it's a derelict sort of station. It hasn't been used in a while, so it's going to have some problems, but it has some energy. But as Dax even states, we've got lights, we've got climate control. Like there are certain components that are working, but not much else. And that's why we're actually on this mission right now, to gather some scrap metal, to gather a cooling unit, to find these Vardum crystal shards, because this is going to help us get this base back to a station that's fairly livable. Also really wanted to grab this little piece of debris. I say little, and it's the size of my ship.
No. Just 8 more shifts and they would have paid me a ticket to Eden 12.
Eden 12, huh? That's one ridiculous name.
They have lakes there.
Cool. I dig lakes. When I was a kid, my old man used to take me kayaking almost every day. That was on Byron 4. Just before the whole place went to hell.
What's kayaking?
You serious? Strap. We've got a visitor.
Leave him to me.
You could try one of your devices on him. In the meantime, I'll put the hangar on lockdown.
So here we're just gathering up the goods that's going to help this base out. Oh, he's too far. We'll pick up our super gel, some credits. We're just picking up all these little components.
What do you think you're doing here? Rodia is outside.
Get us back up and running. More credits. Some nanobots for our consumable slot. Got him.
There. Alone again.
He must have detected us when we reactivated the hangar.
So, about kayaking.
Kayaking. Best thing ever. Say, they never told us soldier grunts how you clones worked. But I heard they gave you fake memories to keep you motivated while fighting. If kayaking isn't in there, someone clearly didn't do their job right.
My memories aren't fake. They used to belong to my clone father and every incarnation that came before me.
Important
they were
lore.
transferred to me right before they died.
Holy. You're some kind of wandering immortal soul.
Well, not anymore. The cycle was broken, so this time, when I die, I'm done.
You know what I would do if I were you?
No. What?
Not croak before I learn kayaking.
Ha ha ha.
I really mean it.
If I ever get the chance, I will.
I was trying to show you guys the very exclusive mining technique by ramming into the resource. Whoops! That was an accidental push of a button. What I did there, for anybody who's wondering, we have two devices on our ship right now. One of which is called an EMP, and the other one, EMP generator, and the other one is called an energized boost. So I hit an energized boost while facing an asteroid. Not the smartest thing in the world. Whoops! But don't you worry, we can fix that. We can buff out those scratches. So here we are gathering the rest of the supplies. We have our cooling unit right here, conveniently enough found in this debris field. It's almost like it was an intentionally placed item to help progress the story. And if you guys know what that's called, I'm sure you do. Somebody out there's like, it's a MacGuffin! Oh, don't spoil it. Goodness gravy.
Hey, Knockroach was right. We've got new neighbors. Let's give them the tour.
Oh, excellent. Now we learned about damage. I read that whole thing just now. You know what it said? It actually says
there is quite
that
a lot
damage,
of traffic around here.
Yeah, something must have happened to our cloaking system. Any luck
lots
with
of
those
talking.
resources yet?
The damage in EVERSPACE 2 works in three regards. You have shields, which are blue, armor, which is orange, and health, which is red. Hull, which is red. You have two different types of damage output. You have energy, which is great against shields, and you have kinetic, which is great against armor. Both of those energy types work wonders towards any hull. So that means if we look at our pulse laser here with 18 kinetic DPS and 50 energy DPS, this thing is great against shields, but it kind of stinks against armor. That being said, once you bypass both the shields and the armor, either through some sort of ability or just by blasting it away, when you're striking the hull, this weapon would deal 68 damage per second because it combines both of those different types of attacks.
Checked off everything on the list.
Great. Now bring the parts so we can give the generator a whirl.
All right, so we're gonna head back to the base, just like he said, to start up this generator so that this base is in working order. And also, you know, that cooling unit's probably gonna help the cryo for Ben as well. That's my thought.
This brings back memories. Never thought I'd miss this shabby place. So, we've got lights, climate control, and access to scans of our near vicinity.
Could the scans help me navigate super light again? I can't fly blind forever.
Good idea. We can't reconnect our navs, or the colonials would immediately locate our asses. But with these scans, let's take a look at the map. There. Ceto Outer Rim, Rodeo Orbit, and Union Bridge.
That's not much.
It's enough for now, at least for what we need to do next. I need you to fly to all three locations and keep an eye out for little devices we like to call beanbags.
Beanbags?
Or beanies. They're small DIY signal distractors and should have kept this base off enemy radars.
You know, if we were to fix Ben, he could easily repair them.
No time. We're lit like a bonfire. If we don't figure out what's wrong with the distractors now, there may not be a Ben in the long run. Tend to the beanbags and make us vanish. That will give us time to figure out what to do about your friend.
Excellent. So you see we've got 3 new locations on the map now that we have to go enable these beanbags to pull us off of the radar, because as Dax said, we are lit like a bonfire. So a couple of questions here. I want to just answer them really quick. Wait, why does shooting crystals give you the resources? Doesn't that ruin the material? Are y'all planning to add mining? Brighton, so we are using a very traditional aspect of game design, which is you shoot, you loot, right? I'm not being snarky there. Like that's our implementation of this system to keep it simple. We don't want to overcomplicate that for players. Yes, if we're looking at it from a realistic perspective, you're right. It would destroy those materials. But we are in a game space and we want to award quick-based play. So we don't want you to have to like fly in close, navigate down, get your alignment, land on the mine, go equip your mining equipment on the side of your ship or what have you, then align it perfectly and then fire a beam and carefully track the perfect line on top of the ore and then extract the ore very carefully because you don't want to damage it, and then put that into the ship carefully again, because if you drop it or something's going to happen, right? And then after you've done all of that, you get back into your ship, you unhinge from the asteroid and you blast off and you keep going. One of these situations takes half a second and the other one takes at least 5 minutes. And we don't want you to have to stop and take 5 minutes every time you want to obtain a resource. Hopefully that makes sense. That all being said, we also want to reward players who do have that skill-based curve into the game, and I can confirm that there will be some mining mechanics in the game to reward you more for how you approach those situations as well. Woo! So another question actually comes also from YouTube. We got a lot of questions from YouTube and it's great. Thank you so much for throwing us so many questions. So we've got a question regarding black holes. So black holes were absolutely in EVERSPACE 1. There were little pockets. It felt really appropriate to have those. Oh, I need to repair my secondaries. But it was appropriate to have those in a roguelike formula because now it's an added challenge that you have to overcome in those little situations. And in EVERSPACE 2, since everything is handcrafted, it's intentionally placed, black holes aren't really something that you are going to randomly come across and then have to deal with. Instead, you're going to have you would have a black hole at a location, and that's going to be really easy to dodge. It's like, okay, well, if I want to get past that black hole, all I have to do is not click on that location and click over here, right? So the challenge is different, the layout is different, and even though, yes, we're in the same franchise and it's still EVERSPACE, because the genre change and the navigation has been updated, we also have to update those different types of environmental effects for the player as well. And as such, the black hole and how it was implemented in EVERSPACE 1 doesn't work anymore. So currently, we don't have any plans at this time to incorporate the black hole into EVERSPACE 2. Who knows what can happen, but that's the long and the short of it. I've been saying the long and the short of it a lot today, but it's because you've been asking a lot of questions and I'm trying to simplify, so that's good. That's good. Let's see, we've got... let's see. I thought I saw another question. Maybe it's already scrolled past, but really good questions. I really appreciate it, guys. Why not use full procedural generation for unknown signals? Chadawi, so, I mean, I guess technically we could, but we also want to design intentional game spaces that the player finds themselves in. I need to repair my missiles. What am I doing? But we want to design intentional spaces for the player to get into. Actually, we might have a couple procedurally generated spaces, but it's not something where we are trying to cover this full gambit of territory by just letting the game figure it out, because that can also present new problems. Since we are not devoted to an entire game experience surrounding procedural generation, in those pockets of procedural generation, there can't be a lot going on, else we're gonna have things stuck inside of asteroids and enemies overlapping themselves, or problem X, Y, or Z is gonna be happening. So we have to be very soft with our approach of that procedural generation, which is why the association of objects as a whole, like asteroids and events, needs to be more on the handcrafted side, so that you are experiencing in a designed way as opposed to a randomly juxtapositioned way, if that makes sense. Woo! Okay, so let's talk about repairing really quick, because I did have a wonderful thing happen, and by wonderful I mean terrible. We had our secondary weapon get damaged. So this can actually happen now to any of your weapons as well as any of your modules, and it will change the effect that they provide for as long as you don't repair them, or if they get overheated, they will not provide an effect until they cool off again. In addition to breaking items, obviously repairing also restores your hull. You can pick and choose which ones you want. If you don't want to pick and choose and you're just like, I just want to repair as quickly as possible, you have the quick repair option. I can just go bam. Everything has been repaired, everything's been restored Restocking is kind of sort of the same way. It's just a matter of literally adding on your secondary weapons back into their amounts. So we do a quick restock there, and we have all of those missiles that we fired off. Whew. Okay, now let's fly out and keep progressing the story. Does Rhodia have a link with Rhodia? What do you mean? Not sure I understand the question.
While you're at it, we could need some more Verdum crystals. The last batch wasn't enough to keep the generator running. They're usually all over the place, but most common around the Ceto outer rim.
Got it. I got the crystals and will get them to you shortly.
Thanks, pal.
All right, so now this is, actually I should slow down a little bit. We've already been through Super Light once, but when you're in Super Light, you are moving through the entire game space of the map. The map, this big old area here, this very massive area here, this is what we're flying through. Now, you can't fly from here over to here just by manual space. You have to use a warp gate, that line that you see, and there are several lines that connect each of the locations through those pathways. Otherwise, we'll likely implement a border on these areas that's like your ship's getting too cold or something, you're leaving the orbit of the star, something like that, that pulls you back in to ensure that you're not getting too crazy out here. But for the most part, this is your large traveling locations, flying around and taking care of business. And I can move up and down and sideways and wherever I want throughout this entire space. There's nothing locking me in. I could go over to this random site that I found, this undiscovered site. There's unknown signals that can crop up out here. Oh, I see. So Michael just informed me. So we do,
If you need better tech, there used to be this trader around. Any sign of the beanbag so far?
Don't know. I got this marker jumping around on my display though.
Could be it. Try to follow it and keep me posted.
So regarding Rhodia, it is not uncommon for us, or really for any developer, to reference or have fun or even poke fun of other projects that we have worked on, especially for the sake of placeholder content. And because you know that EVERSPACE 2 is largely still in development and we have a long ways to go, you'll likely see some of those little things from time to time. But again, it is placeholder. So we're not gonna get too crazy or create some type of interlinking double franchise conspiracy sort of thing. Like that's not our game plan. It never was, it never will be. But I suppose you could say that, I mean, yeah, I suppose you could say there's a reference there, at the least. So we found this logbook. If you guys want to see this, you can just pause the screen really quick. I'm just gonna keep going. I talk enough as it is.
Ship near Nemertes, huh? Might be worth checking out.
So we got a side mission called the Undead Ship from finding that. And maybe we'll get a reward for doing it. Maybe we won't. But we don't know until we try. Otherwise, we're gonna keep picking up Verdum Crystal because we're gonna need it for the home base. I'm not gonna pick up everything though. I might show like a couple of the better secrets in this area. Let's see if I remember where I'm at least. Here we are. So we have scattered around some specific item locations in the game. Also hit my alt. We'll talk about that in just a second, but there are bulletproof containers hidden around these environments, and these are going to be your hot ticket items. So when we go into this bulletproof container, we find the Quantum Entangler device. This is an entirely new ability that you can effectively add onto your ship. The Quantum Entangler is very useful in how it changes the effect of your repairs with an opponent. We're also going to grab onto this bomb and shoot it back at this outlaw bomb thrower, because they are guarded by shields that do not come down until they're hit by a barrel bomb itself. Now, yes, I also want to mention we are aware that there's no tutorial, there's no pop-ups that help understand this call to action. Some people have complained that the shield is like way too strong. And it is intentionally done so to where you can't do any damage to it whatsoever until the shield comes down. That is also technically placeholder. That can change. Might be to where you can do damage, but you just don't do a lot unless you use a barrel bomb. And it might also be something where Adam starts striking up a conversation, or I should say the clone starts striking up a conversation with you saying, I can't get through that unless I give it a taste of its own medicine. Something like that. So do know that it is intentionally designed, but obviously there's still more room for player conveyance, which we are working on. That's a big aspect of what we want to get done correctly through the course of development. Okay, so next we're gonna go head over to McClure's Odds and Ends to show you the challenges, unlocking those, and what that can also do for you throughout the game space.
Oh. Would you look at that? Customer or outlaw?
Customer, I guess. But can't you be both?
Not here at McLaw's. I'm running an honest business.
I see.
Say, laddie, you look like you could very well handle those outlaws. Are you up for some challenges? Hunting outlaws in a more creative way? I will even throw in some reward for you. What do you say?
Yes.
Let me take a look.
So we've unlocked the challenges just by visiting this nice lady. I'm sure she's just all-star. And the challenges tabs is right next to your reputation and your statistics over here. For this particular one, the Outlaw Hunt is the first challenge you get that rewards you with some credits and some experience. Really kind of basic. It even says basic straight on the screen there. So as you progress through the game, there will of course be many different challenges that you can pursue, not just against the outlaw, but maybe other different factions that you can encounter through the game space, maybe through exploration challenges, maybe through side missions, and through everything in between, really. So challenges is going to be a big aspect that you can be rewarded by if you choose to pursue those, or you don't have to at all. You don't have to worry about it. You don't. If you don't want to, you don't have to. We could track this. What tracking means is that now it's going to be stuck on our screen in that upper left corner, so we know this is what we have to do to get it. And if we don't want that, if we think that's like super hyper annoying, it's like clean my screen off, go away, we can untrack it. Oh, I'm actually blocking that, excuse me. This button right here, it used to say untrack. So if we track that, then it keeps that marker on the screen. If we untrack it, then it's gone. So you can pick and choose what type of data you're getting fed on the main screen. So if you want to pursue something like that, it's a lot easier versus if you don't. That looks like a curious thing to explore. All right, so we're gonna fly over here. Oh, look, we found it.
Found it. It's infested with hydras. That could explain the weak signal. Cleared it. Okay. Now how to activate it?
Beautiful.
Just fly close and charge the link.
First Beanie is back online.
Excellent. But for a proper disappearing act, we need 2 more.
Yeah, there's actually a bit more in this area that I'm kind of just glazing over. But I do want to point out that, like, if you guys have more questions about anything that you're seeing on the screen, obviously this is a place to do it.
People show up all over the place, but never where we actually are. Keeps the crowd guessing and is safe.
Can you fight Okar corvettes or frigates in Everspace 2? At this time, no, you cannot. But that doesn't mean they can't be implemented. I think that there is a very strong chance that we will see the Okar and their might and in their glory, considering we are in their space. We're literally in the DMZ here, right? So quick lore lesson for all you, get your pencils out. There will be a test next Friday. Basically, this entire area that we're in is in the middle of the demilitarized zone. This is the space that was agreed upon through the pacts, the treaties, after the Okar colonial conflict, where the Okar are going to make sure there's nothing going wrong. There's no tomfoolery happening. They are basically policing this zone. And the colonials will make sure they don't have any militarized assets remaining in the zone through the treaties. So the colonials have gone off in one direction, whoop, and the Okar, actually, their homeworlds are pretty close by the demilitarized zone. We learned that through the lore of Everspace 1. So they are very present, very alive, and very well here, and if you were to do a bunch of bad things, the Okar would probably show up. This is also why, bonus lore right here, this is also why you are flying under the radar, working for GMB, and have gotten rid of your previous colonial military vessel, because that's super easy to track. You know this because you played Everspace 1, and if you took too long in an area, the Okar were like, hey, we found that fighter, we're gonna go destroy it now. So, yeah, so we're taking in all this lore, we're making sure that it's well established, we're moving things forward, and the Okar, I mean, absolutely. I guarantee you, we will be seeing many of them. We also did have a reveal of one of the companions that you will meet. It's our good buddy Terrain from the DLC of Everspace 1. So that even furthers, you know, the Okar that you will be meeting. Like, literally one is a companion.
Here's the Verdun.
Yeah, about that. It turned out that 5 of them are enough, but you can use the rest to upgrade the other systems. This station offers quite a few perks if you have the right people on board. Now all we need is to get the beanbags running and we're good.
Excellent. So we dropped off those Vardum crystal shards. And now we're gonna go complete the rest of this mission to activate these beanbags. I see a question that Michael jumped on, and thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. By the way, you guys are so freaking lucky to have a CEO of a game company who desires to be present in a weekly live stream. I think that's huge. If I was just a mere gamer and like was splurging over a game and I had the opportunity to engage with the CEO on a weekly basis with my questions for the game or for the team, wow, that's huge. So Michael, sincerely, huge shout out to you for being present with the community, answering questions. I hope that you guys realize how much that means. It's really awesome and it's really appreciated. So he does answer a question from Anime Girl 26. How many, you can have as many ships as you want, right? Well, I mean, we do have to have some limitations on that, otherwise we're gonna have some issues. But the long story short, Michael says, is it's denied for technical and game design reasons. So no, you cannot have unlimited ships, but you will have a nice selection between them when you store them at your home base. And we're not done talking about the home base either. So I want your mind to wander.
Found one of your beanies. Looks like an asteroid bumped off half of its antennas.
Maybe we're lucky and it got caught up somewhere. Hey, try running a holoscan to simulate the crash.
What do you think I just did?
Smart man.
Obviously, placeholder. But we want to show you guys that there can be additional technologies in place that you can utilize that are going to help the game move forward, so that you're not going to just have to like freely explore a location until you find what you're looking for. I think that could be very frustrating, grindy. Hello, Rockfish peoples and chat. Well, hello there. What a pleasant individual popping in. How many systems and planets will be there? That's a hard question to ask. No, it's an easy question to ask. It's a hard question to answer. Ah! But effectively, our current vision is to have 8 solar systems, or sectors, if you will. And each one of those locations, I mean, the number of planets is a curious sort of question because the number of planets doesn't necessarily indicate the number of areas, which might be more of what you're curious about. So as an example, if we go into the map right now, we see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets. Another body over here. It's pretty small, almost like the size of a moon. There's a moon on this planet, and then there's a moon on this planet. So what is that? 8? I think there's 8 celestial bodies here. Well, also the star. Anyway, you get my point. The number of planets doesn't necessarily dictate the number of areas you can go exploring, because when we explore more of this, you'll see that there's a couple that you can go down to this planet, yes, but then there's going to be a lot of spatial areas that you can go to as well. Spatial? In space. You know, we look at Union here and we see 4 planets, and that's it. Well, besides the fact that that's just placeholder, there's no indication of flying down to these planets, how close you're going to be to those, like, so there's a lot in between and around that, right? But as a general sort of response, looking at this, we have 8 of these different sectors, if you will, and in Cedo, whenever we have the whole thing explored, we have 10 large locations that you're going to be able to explore, and then you have additional locations much smaller than that are explorable as well, that do reward you for your time and your troubles. And we want to be fairly consistent with that across the board. That number can change wildly. It's even possible, dare I say this, it's even possible that you see this map in the future and there's a location missing, or 2. Maybe we don't have time to implement all of this, because this is a lot. This is a lot. If we were to take Cedo right now and just copy and paste it all over the place and then change them, my point is, if we were to make 10 large handcrafted locations at each of one of these locations, and then 25 smaller locations at every single one, I mean, I'm not going to do the math straight up here, but that is 80 handcrafted large locations and 200 smaller locations that you would be visiting around this space. All handcrafted locations. That's a freaking ton of environments. There's a lot there. And we want to make sure that the world is large and explorable and meaningful, absolutely. But we also have to temper your expectations here in what we're providing as a whole.
One more and the show is on.
Because that's a lot. Like, just this area alone, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to explore. There's a lot of secrets to be had. That's every single one of these larger locations. And we'd also need more money. That's a good point. So I am going to do one of the little side things here, and I'm going to find another device as well. So for any of you who have the beta and you're like, I don't know where the devices are, well, I'm kind of giving you some pro tips right now. You can fly over to this site. You know that this is the site you need to go to just based on what it looks like. And behind here, there is a hidden shipwreck. Look at this. Boom. Temporo Nano Recompensator. Another hidden device. Excellent. All right, so now we're gonna jump out of here. We're gonna fly to the next location, even though there's a lot more we could still do here. But we're just gonna move on. All right, so.
What's a juggle?
Seriously? Man, you obviously never had to endure shift duty. Juggling is about throwing up objects and catching them in quick succession. Over and over.
Why?
To keep idle minds busy. Plus, there's a lot of profound stuff to be learned along the way.
Right.
I mean it. Just finish up, and once you're back, I'll show you.
Also, I missed Torben coming in. Welcome, Torben. It's always great to have a fellow Rockfishian in the stream. Yeah, so I see some questions regarding some mouse sensitivity and tweaking elements like that. I mean, I hope I don't need to explain this too much, but do keep in mind that all the system settings and whatnot that you see here, we're not done at all. There's gonna be more features, more abilities to tweak settings and whatnot. I think Andy a couple weeks ago actually found an issue with a sensitivity slider somewhere, and has since adjusted that. If I'm remembering that correctly anyway. So we are constantly making improvements and modifying things based on the feedback that we've been getting through the forums. So if you're one of those individuals who are like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this mouse sensitivity because it's not working, don't worry, please be patient, work in progress, we're gonna get through it. I promise you, we're getting some really good feedback, we're gonna make it work.
Found it. Looks like its power core fell off. I'll plug it back in.
No, keep your distance. Don't go in until you're ready to take some damage.
Too late.
So here I'm not gonna do the little side mission of this where you could actually sneak around the corners, destroy all the drones to prevent any additional damage, but I'm just flying on in because I know what I'm doing.
How did you know it was a trap?
It's called scavenger baiting. Outlaws do that a lot. Besides, beanbags don't run on power cores.
Thanks for the heads up anyway. One last charge and I'm done.
But note that there will be a lot of situations that are out here that can lead you to trapped situations as well. So just because you can see certain things on the screen, have tracking data for enemy types or objectives or, whatever that's on your UI, it might not be indicative of what you will face. So you have to be careful about some of the situations you're getting into.
Are back online.
I can see that. Our base marker is now everywhere but here. Next, I need you to drop by the trading station at Union Bridge. They might have something that could help us fix your friend.
Like medical supplies?
No, but it will get us there. It's called a PrimeSense STA. Might be a bit costly though.
A PrimeSense STA. Got it.
Good. And don't forget that for anyone watching, the beanbags are the main act now. That's a cozy little juggling gig. No clown parade, and definitely not a stunt show. After all, there may be a bounty on our heads, so keep your ambitions low. Got it?
Laying low is not really my strong suit, but I'll try my best.
I really mean it. Talk to you soon.
So now we have our base concealed, so even though we go to the map screen and we can see it, the main point of all of that mission tasking was so that we are no longer on the radar. So going back to that initial question at the start of the stream about well, does it make sense for this home base to have cryo, right? Well, we have to build it up. It started pretty low. We've already incorporated some resources into it from the very start, the very first mission. Now we've hidden it from the radar. Maybe there's more we're going to do with it. We'll keep you posted, and I'm sure you'll find out in an update later. All right. Question! The game looks fantastic. That's not a question. Here we go. Do you plan any content of being hunted by someone similar to the original? Yes. Okay. Okay, so to be a little bit more clear there, okay, obviously being a little facetious, but right out of the gate, in the very first mission, that colonial ship was literally hunting us. They are saying, hand over the Rosslyn clone. So we know that we are a target of their interest. Will we see them again? I honestly don't think, obviously we will. So there's going to be a 20 to 30 hour campaign that's going to show you the results of having your DNA sent out on a beacon because of the dumb outlaws who captured you. And now you have to figure out a way to lay low once again after you have, through the course of this adventure. You're trying to escape the DMZ. You got pretty far after the end results of EVERSPACE 1, but it's gonna take a little bit more effort on your side. All right, let's see. Grand Theft Auto wanted level. And Torben responds, would be dope, wouldn't it? Trading outpost. Let's see what's here.
I'm looking for a PrimeSense STA.
That's the pre-war model. It's very rare, but I do have one in stock.
I'll buy it then.
A please wouldn't hurt.
Can I please buy it? How much is it anyway?
4,000.
4,000.
And 200, yes. You don't happen to be a contractor, do you?
Could be. Why?
Because I could pay you, say, 2.5k, if you do a little job for me. All you have to do is deliver a small package to a dear customer of mine.
Sweet.
That's all?
Will you do it?
Sure, why not?
That doesn't sound very committed.
I would be honored if you let me take this job.
Excellent. You will find the package at the abandoned station nearby. I'll give you further instructions once you're there.
Okay, so answering a couple of questions after that dialogue exchange, we got another side mission, by the way, so if we don't have enough credits to purchase this, and you probably won't when you get to this part in the game, you can then take on this side mission to gain a large amount of resources. There is a, we'll probably do that, just so you can kind of see how that progresses. So, a couple of these questions. We had one that was, when can we expect voice acting to be included? Frank, so voice acting as a whole, let me just paint the picture really quick. So we have to have the story locked in place first. All of the dialogue from all the different directions it could potentially go if there were multi-directional options in like a side mission or something. Then we have to have all of the voice actors set up, right? Then we go through and we tackle all of that. Then obviously you're also gonna have like revisions, and you're gonna have people that maybe had to bail and have to reschedule, stuff like that. It's a pretty large process when you're incorporating voice acting. And we have thousands upon thousands of lines of conversation in the game, okay? Well more than what we had in EVERSPACE 1. And that's because it's now an open world RPG, right? So we can't really start doing voice work early. Otherwise, then we have to schedule another voice recording session, and then we have to schedule another one, and then we have to schedule another one, and that starts costing a lot of money. And I don't think that would be very fruitful for us to spend the money that you have given us to support our cause in kind of a volatile way like that. So instead, we are making sure that our timings for voice work is going to be when most of the elements are locked in place. So that's going to be near the the mid to late elements of early access, where we'll start seeing voice work really come into the picture there, okay? And it's just, yeah, that's really how we're gonna outline that. Let's see, will the game feature over-the-top boss battles? Oh, I certainly hope so. Like small fighter versus capital ship. Yeah, I mean, I think as a general rule of thumb, we can compare to EVERSPACE 1, and knowing that that's present in that game, that we would probably do some similarities at the very least, and maybe try to do more. Oh, Michael also tells me that all dialogues will be fully voiced when we hit early access this January. Wow, okay. So is that both English and German, Michael? I knew that we were actually doing recording sessions now, but I didn't know that we were going to have it completely ready. So I just got that news. I'm excited for that. Holy cow, guys. So plot twist. Okay, so that's English only. That will be English voice acting that we'll have done fully voiced, guys. Fully voiced. All the interactions that you will be able to dive into with early access this January will be fully voiced. That's awesome. Thank you. Very much appreciate that response. Okay. I saw there was another question, and I want to make sure that I get to it. Do the obvious closed beta label on the screen. Are there any giveaways today? No, there are not. And you know, never be embarrassed for asking. It's always, it's fine. We do make the appropriate announcements at the start of the screen. Also, the title would probably say giveaway. You know, you're gonna have some signals. We want to make sure that people know what's going on. But yeah, no, it's no problem asking. It's fine. Will we lose our game progress as we go through updates? That's gonna depend, Lord Bane. So, a really simple comparison here. We're doing these missions out right now, going through the game. We're completing these objectives. What if those objectives change? What if the requirements to accomplish this task is modified in some degree or capacity that triggers something else to occur? If we carry over your save file that you had from a previous version to this new version, now the data that would have triggered that event from happening, maybe as a required event to happen, no longer is in existence. So that save data might effectively be borked. You can't use that to progress the game because that data wasn't present in the previous version, and so you're kind of stuck in whatever space you loaded into the new version, right? Now, that being said, we know a lot of people are quite passionate about their save files and they want to play through as far as they can and all that type of stuff, but just please note that while we do everything in our power to carry over that data, it's a work in progress. This is not a full game, and I don't think we should establish the expectation of having the game space an episodic delivery of the full game. So you can't start the game at the beginning of early access and then finish it at full release. It's just not how it works. The real experience, the true adventure, starts at the 1.0 full release, okay?
That station.
Okay,
doesn't
let's
look
do this mission.
abandoned to me.
How many are there?
5. One of them is a pretty nasty viper.
I knew it. Don't let them get away.
All right, we're gonna start needing some loot. We haven't been finding very much stuff. That needs to change. But our weaponry is a little bit underpowered here. You can see it's starting to take a bit of time to chip away at these ships. Now I'm using some very basic techniques in evasion to keep my damage low. So I'm not too worried about that since these are still beginner level missions and whatnot. But we're gonna start reaching a gear check soon if we're not careful, since these guys are level 4s and all of our equipment's level 1.
But the Viper jumped out.
Is the package still there?
Let's check our equipment really quick, see if there's anything. Let's see. Nope. Same exact sensors. We got some nanobots. And we have some energy cores. We have an energy core that's level 4. That'll be a nice upgrade once we level up one more time, which we're getting close. And we got some mine launchers, which are also level 4, so that'll be a nice addition to our arsenal. But for now, it's not looking so great. That's okay.
Can't find it anywhere.
What ship types did the group fly?
Apart from that elite Viper, there were a scout, 2 madcaps and a sniper drone.
Just as I thought. I hate those guys. They had pestered me to sell them the wares, but I turned them down.
They didn't happen to have left their address, did they?
The Viper pilot is its lair in Roger orbit. I would be very grateful if you could get my package back.
This will cost you.
How about a raise up to 3.5k?
Sounds fair.
Nice.
I'm on it.
Sweet. I like how we were just talking about equipment, and I forgot that there was an equalizer over here. So an equalizer is a type of coil gun developed by Federal Arms and Crafts. There are different manufacturers in the game, as well as different bonuses based on the manufacturer itself. So Federal Arms and Crafts, trying to remember what they excel at here. I think it is hit scan type of weapons is what they focus around. So like the coil gun, for example, obviously. But they can also create something like an energy shield, for example, that would then heighten the powers of hit scan weapons, right? Do you guys know what I mean when I say hit scan? Is that a common enough game term? Or is that too much? I know that you guys are gamers, so I know that you're pretty freaking smart. I just I just have to ask. Let's see, some other questions I want to make sure that they're getting answered as well. Hazy, thank you so much. He's actually a moderator on the Twitch chat. He's going in and answering questions too. Really do appreciate that. We actually need to update our mission because we need to change it back over to the good, the bad, and the decent. We want to go over here. So we want to finish the side quest to give us some credits, because we're really low on credits. Giratana, even if that is the situation, this is not the chat to say such things. So if people want to know about what's going on with real-world events, I'm sure that they will find those accordingly. So let's make sure that the stream is about Rockfish Games and Everspace and all that type of stuff. But obviously, of course, we hope everybody is okay. All right. Polygons have 0 travel time. Yes, technically they have 0 travel time.
Did the trader send you?
Yeah. Now don't make a fuss, just return what you stole and I'll let you go.
Never. Everyone says I am just like everyone else. But with this I will prove them wrong. I will finally stand out.
Sigh.
Whoop. Alright, so now we have to take on this Elite Outlaw Viper. This is the first Elite that we've seen in this particular stream. Elites are a variation of the standard weapon type. And basically it gives them more health, more damage, and usually some other unique attributes that we will have to talk about later, since some of those details haven't been revealed yet.
Hey.
But we want to make sure that elites aren't something that's just like how should I put this? Like if you run into a level 5 enemy and then you run into like a level 5 elite, we don't want that level 5 elite to be the equivalent of like a level 10, right? Because that's boring and dumb. We want to have weight to a ship having that elite status or any status that it might have. And through that, we want to also diversify the types of enemy movements and attack patterns that you'll also be coming across in the game as well.
Did the package contain some Viridium paint by any chance?
Yes, that's it. The recipient is already waiting for you at the outer rim.
You know that Viridium products are illegal.
I'm sorry, but I'm not paying you so well to ask questions.
Point taken.
All right, so now we need to deliver this package to another location, and then hopefully we'll earn our credits then. Enemy ships end up outside the map border, which makes the encounter mission impossible to finish. Is that kind of intended? No, it's not intended, and it will be fixed. Torben actually responds with that, and he says that the fix is, yeah, it's on our list with a high priority. We've discovered it in a number of different ways, some of which are hilarious, but no, that will be adjusted. Yeah. And it's not something where it's like we want to modify, it's something that we want to completely remove. Okay, so it's not like we want to give there some padding room where enemies can, no, like we don't want you to have a situation in the game, especially something that's like campaign significant, to be outside those borders so that you can't progress the story forward, right? That would be a major problem, which is why it's such a high priority for us to address. So, yeah, you can see it now, but it's going to be gone. It will be completely eliminated. Let's take out these guys before we finish up this mission. Man, I wish I had some modifiers to apply to this coil gun, because I feel like it shoots slow and it costs a lot of energy. All right, here we are. Elite Outlaw Viper.
Are you the guys I am supposed to meet?
You have the package?
Yeah, here.
Wow, thanks. This paint job will make us finally stand out. Everyone will see that we're not like everyone else.
I keep hearing that. Have fun with it. Time to head back to the trader.
All right. Done and done.
I delivered the paint.
Very good.
Say, about those customers of yours. They were a scout, 2 madcaps, a sniper drone, and an elite Viper pilot?
Yeah, they're quite the raggle-taggle group. It's really hard not to like them, isn't it?
They're exactly the same as the guys you just made me fight.
Nah, there's a big difference. Return to my shop and you'll understand.
Okay, so we are heading back to Union Bridge. There's a couple more questions. One of talking about hit scan. It's the single most reason you'll have Descent 2. Awesome. Yeah. Driller bots. Let's see. Will you add another element to the HUD cockpit view showing a wireframe model of the target relative to your heading, like an X-Wing Alliance, so you can guesstimate their position and heading? That is not something that is in the plan. Julio Montega. The way that we have it is like whenever you have a target locked, even as of right now, there's not actually anything inside of the cockpit that shows a display for your opponent. This could change. Very well could change, but as of right now, we do not have that. We did have a little bit of data in EVERSPACE 1's cockpit whenever that occurred. Not sure how meaningful it was. I do like the idea of a ship, the positioning of it in a 3D model. Don't get me wrong. But we'll just have to see what works well for the game space, works well for the vision, all those different types of things. Hit scan is a cheap way to not have to do bullet physics. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Yes, it's it can have some odd situations happen. Yeah, it can.
Here's your money.
Great.
Oh, and one more thing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Didn't that just feel really good?
What do you mean?
When the two Viper pilots came by to order the paint, the first one just barged in, slammed his money on the counter and made his proposition, while the other one began by asking if it was okay for him to dock here. When I said yes, he thanked me. Can you believe that?
That's, amazing.
You don't get a lot of thank yous out here. Sometimes it's the small things that really make us stand out.
Right. Well, thank you for the money, I guess.
You're very much welcome, my friend.
Excellent. So we completed that side mission. Perfection. So just a little bit more on hit scan. Yeah, I mean, we understand that it's basically what we're doing. We want to have some weapons utilize hit scan and some that are literal projectiles, right? So that you have a lot of variety in the weapon choices that you choose. I think that this is incredibly important in a looter shooter. I think in any capacity of a game that invokes customization and giving options, we want to do that, right? Yeah, odd situations can happen, but that's why we're in early access, and that's why we quality assurance test the heck out of this stuff. Let's see. Do you plan something along the lines for the gunship's turret so the pilot actually gets an idea where it fires? You're asking great questions, but the gunship, it's currently getting its features modified, tweaked, adjusted, elements like that. You did see the turret on top of it, I'm sure. And much like EVERSPACE 1, we do want to have it a functional ability to assist the player in the moment. Now, can we decide on what target it shoots at? Can we decide on where it's pointing and stuff like that? At this time, I don't think we have that type of implementation. I think that's a curious implementation, and if you wanted to take that conversation further, I would recommend heading over to the Steam forums for EVERSPACE 2 and dropping down your thoughts of what you think that should look like, and we'll see if that goes in with our vision or not. And I think that could promote a nice, healthy conversation. All right, so let's see a couple more questions over on YouTube. We've gotten a lot of great questions today, so I really do appreciate everybody for diving into the chat and asking, because it's been a really pleasant trip. Really pleasant time for me today. You guys are kind of cool. I like you. All right, so here's a level 4 energy core that's going to help out quite a lot. I'm just going to sell these common items. There's probably a reason I should save them, but it's fine. Oh, we have a level 3 missile. Yeah, we're going to take that. And they're high capacity, which means we can hold more of them. That's always awesome. Pulse laser, sensor, scrap metal. All right. Done and done. So now we can purchase this Prime Sense STA for 4,200 credits.
One pre-war system scanner coming right up.
A system scanner?
Perfect. Let's answer some questions before I trigger the next cutscene. Let's see. Regarding the playthrough by the general routes, you're talking about like the roguelike formula of choosing your next destination. You referenced Slay the Spire. I would have referenced FTL, but yeah, I mean, basically it's the same concept, right? EVERSPACE 2 is open world, much like everyone is stating there, but just to make sure that you are fully aware, when we look at this map and the type of exploration that's possible here, is that these are persistent locations now. When you choose a new path, it's not like you can't go back. You can freely move about this space in a lot of different territories. So that does change and paint a very different picture in regards to how you are moving through the game space in EVERSPACE 2 in comparison, especially with EVERSPACE 1. All right, so now let's go ahead and trigger this cutscene.
Dax, come in Dax. I just bought the SDA. How is a simple scanner going to help Ben?
With this we can finally see the system without the colonials seeing us back. Find an abandoned medical station, patch up your friend.
A medical station? Out here?
Ceto isn't that small. We're bound to come across something if we keep looking long enough.
Even if we did, it will already be raided by outlaws. Sorry, Dax, but this is taking far too long.
Come on, just roll with me here. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah!
AG&B convoy just jumped in.
Okay, that's funny.
All automated, barely guarded, and completely packed.
So you could really tell that was an in-game
Load
cutscene.
any medical supplies.
Oh my
Promised me
gosh.
no parades.
I'm sorry, Dax. This is the one I need to follow. You always ramble on about parades and dances and throwing around bags, but I know nothing about those things. I'm a prime ballista, remember?
Prima ballerina.
Whatever. My friend is in trouble, and this is my chance to help him. The convoy is AI-driven, there are just a few guards. I might even manage to steal the meds without any trouble at all.
Okay, but this whole operation is on your head and your head alone.
Thanks, Dax. It's really the only thing I know how to do.
Awesome. So, I think this is actually a good spot to kind of stop and wrap things up a little bit. But yeah, that was funny. I actually haven't seen that cutscene to where the ships actually fire at a target. Thought we had eliminated the ships that would interact with it, so yay for QA testing during a live stream. That's going to be marked up for the books. But otherwise, yeah. Barely guarded proceeds to decimate some outlaws. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh, that's great. So if you guys do have additional questions, I will continue to answer those. But I also wanted to show off some of the gallery shots that we've had from you guys, and then I also had a talking point regarding the doctor, because we had some questions come up regarding how she looked in the game versus the concept art. And I mean, I'm gonna try not to be like super nitpicky about this, but I think in general, you guys know that in concept art, when you are experiencing any type of concept art whatsoever, here, let me allow you to see what I'm talking about. You know, we have Michael actually threw this together for me, just so that you can kind of see this a little bit more. This concept art for Delia Window, you know, we have her listed as a doctor and a scientist here. You can really see the expressions on her face, like, you know, we got the freckles, the very green eyes, the reddish, almost purplish hued hair, right? Distinct facial structure, all of this stuff going on. You know, different sort of looks. You know, she's a little happier. She's, you know, surprised. She's being very confident, etc., etc. Like, this is kind of like the, oh man, there's a bit of stream. Oh, I need to close the game. 1 second. 1 second. Let me do this, and this is going to make things much happier. Okay. Perfect. So when we're looking at the character here, I mean, this is the base level of the character, right? The base level of what we're aiming for from the concept art. So naturally, when we incorporate this character into the game, there's going to be some subtle changes and whatnot, right? So the elements in question from the frame by frame, we actually have this scene right here. That's from, it says scene 3. This is whenever you discover the doctor. So we didn't quite get to this part in the game, but I'm just going to go from frame to frame here. You can see, a lot of the improvements that we've been making over time. So this is kind of fun to see, and how Dax and Adam are looking at one another, and then boom, we've got Delia Window inside here. And it's not this particular scene, but there are a couple other scenes where people have been saying, well, she doesn't look like the concept art, stuff like that. It's just part of the process of a work in progress piece. So much like you can see right through these scenes, Dax and Adam have also received updates to their characters. Their treatment has increased, right? And that same application will apply to Dr. Delia Window. We'll get her closer to the concept art, or we'll refine our concept art to reflect more of what we want her to look like in the future. Pretty cut and dry, pretty basic, pretty simple. So otherwise, that's kind of the detail there. That's Delia Window, the concept art right there, and how we move forward from that point. Yeah, and I see even in the chat somebody saying it's a concept, product is not final. Yes, absolutely. And we can scream it 1,000 times, and sometimes it's still not perfectly conveyed, and we get that. We just hope that you are along for the ride to see that development invokes change. All right. Lord Bane, will we be able to unlock any additional ship types in the beta? Yes, you can. You can actually get 3 different subclasses of the medium class ships. So you have access to the Sentinel, the Interceptor, and the Striker. Okay, so a couple other pictures just to look at while we move on. We are making some really good progress on the gunship behind the scenes. You can see the turret right there. That was a question. This imagery was shown a couple weeks back, but just for those who missed it, we're really happy with the results so far. He's supposed to look big, bad, and bulky. So if that's what you are looking for in a ship, I think this guy's going to deliver on all cylinders. And when I say all cylinders, I mean he's got more than the other ships. We've got, look at this missile launcher. Each side has 4 missiles that it can launch out, okay? That's very different from the other ships because the other ships only have 1. Then obviously we have 1, 2, 3, and oh, what's that over there? 4 different mounts for the primary weapon to fire from as well. This might not be a huge impact on the gameplay, but it does change and help stylize this ship from the others. And I hope that you will realize how much of an improvement this makes for those of you who really like heavy weaponry. Excellent. Let's look at another shot here. This is more of the rear of the gunship, one of the many engine types that you'll have, including these side engines, which are very noteworthy of the original EVERSPACE and how you upgrade through the game. We also see a space within Union, actually, that we haven't quite seen yet, but we do have this large nebula that you've all seen more in detail and other aspects, I'm sure. A nice, pleasant little show. Then we also just have another striking image here. Get it? Because it's a striker. Okay, yeah, that was probably not my best joke ever, but I digress. Looking clean. We're really happy with the textural quality and the lighting effects that are coming through. I mean, this is stuff that we're just constantly adding and refining and making it look better. So everything that you've seen before, even in the stream that I just, like going through the game that we just did, it's getting better from here. Like all of this rich detail, like we want to make sure this really pops. This really wows you. It's important. And that's what we are aiming to do. So we're really happy with these results. Got this last one here. Another striker. Like the metallic. Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of the metallic looks as well. There's some colors that just, oh my gosh, like they're like a black metallic. Oh, it's just, I love that. But I think we also have one that's like a it's like a matte navy color. I also like it too. But they all do a really good job, I think, of helping you stylize your ship in different ways to make you fly out in space in the style that you deem worthy. We don't have ship customization as a feature in the beta. And I don't think that out of the gates of early access, you're going to have like specific ship part customization. I don't think that we are in that phase, but just know that there are a lot of different ship components that come together to create the end result that is your ship, including a number of other factors like the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. So we will be revisiting just how much space and how much accessibility there is on the customization standpoint in the future. Cool. All right, let's see. I want to make sure there's not any other questions I missed, and then I want to actually literally jump into the Discord and show you some of the pieces that people have been sharing and whatnot. And speaking of the Discord, I think it's really important that you guys know how to get in there. Oh my gosh, I haven't even talked about this like once this entire time. So you can go to the Discord by going to discord.gg/rockfishgames. We have a lot of other places to go, including Twitch and YouTube, obviously, because you guys are stemmed from there. We also are on Twitter at Rockfish Games, and the game stuff comes under Everspace_game. We also have Instagram, where we post a lot of your guys' content. Holy crap, are you amazing? Your shots, seriously. You can see the highlights of what you do for us right from there. Quite awesome, a lot of fun. We really love it. And then in addition to that, we're also on Reddit for a lot of questions and discussions that occur there quite frequently. And Hazy has done a great job helping moderate and focus that back in for all to love and enjoy. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump over to the gallery itself of the Discord, just going in it live. Oh my gosh, that's dangerous to do on a scene like this. But we're gonna dive back into this because there are way too many images now to like pick and choose. If I were to just pick and choose a couple, I feel like I'm being rude to you guys. There's so much stuff here. We have some funny shots. We have some brilliant shots. We've got everything in between. A funny shot, for example, like this is a glitch that's currently in the game. So these are all containers that can spawn in the same location over and over and over again. Unfortunately, also causing a massive frame rate drop. But we are aware of this. We have seen this. We know how to reproduce it. It will be fixed. But yeah, I mean, we've got some really brilliant shots. Like I said, you guys do a really good job of just lining up the photo. I didn't even show you the photo mode. What am I doing? What am I thinking? But you can adjust like your field of view, you can adjust the focus point, you can adjust a number of things, the saturation, or not saturation, right now it's the term I'm looking for, basically the brightness aspects of it. Anyway, the point is that we've got some great shots that are coming out of you guys. Spoot Knight here really likes his explosions. For example, flying out of home base. I really like this fighter he's got too. I think that's just baller, man. I think that's wonderful. I mean, we can go back further. I mean, look at this one too. Flying through the base. Quite nice. Really clean. Really solid. But we have a lot from like, from a lot of other individuals like Jay Gnarl flying through. I think this is an Everspace 1 shot. Really dark now that I'm looking at it, but really clean shots coming out of his work as well. My goodness. We have BW Lamprecht, who's been sending us tons of shots. Oh, Jay Gnarl as well also provided some clean shots from the gunship from Everspace 1. So if you're not familiar with Everspace 1, you've never seen it, take a look at this guy. This is the gunship from Everspace 1. That's the top side view. This is a front side view. And if you want to see these closer, all the more reason to join the Discord. Go into the gallery, scroll up, click it, expand it, boom. Like, there's a lot of really good stuff throughout here. So just kind of like clicking on random ones here. I mean, we got this one, which looks nice and clean. Flying through super light also looks nice and clean. I mean, we've got it's just, there's so much. There's too much. I strongly encourage you to join. The lateral thruster is hard at work here. Anyone who's kind of wondering what lateral thrusters are, all of these blue sequences, it's showing you you're boosting to the right. You're boosting downwards. Like, we want to make sure that that's a visual for you to understand your control over your ship. It's very important. Got a nice clean red starter ship. That looks nice. That looks great. I think it's actually orange, but the light makes it look red. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, flying out of the starting asteroid. That's exactly what it is. So seriously, keep the shots coming because we love them dearly. You guys go ham, and it's everything that we could ever hope and dream that it would be. We got Lambert with a new ship. He was really excited about getting it. Flying through space. So much. Azorka here as well. Coming in with the nice close-ups. Oh my gosh, just so much praise for you guys. Seriously, you are the real rock stars of the community. Because like you splurge on this type of stuff, and I love it so much. It's so solid. Like, look at this one too. Unfortunately small due to the resolution here, but really, really good stuff. The shattered planetoid. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep scrolling through and just randomly picking pictures. We have a couple minutes left in the stream, so if you have any more questions, now is the time to ask and help me serve you. Let me be your host and your guide in this process. Let's get some questions out there, and I just want to knock them out of the park for you. No Pyro GX. I would have to follow up with somebody else on the team regarding that because I don't know. Torben, are you still here? Michael, would you happen to know about Pyro GX? Not entirely sure. See if we can help you out though. If all else fails, I encourage you to head over to the Ask Questions channel of our Discord and drop that same question there so that we can follow up accordingly. We might not get to it until Monday because, you know, offices, operations and whatnot, but still, we want to make sure that your questions are getting answered. That's very important for us. Aperture is the word. Thanks, Michael. Whew. Man, I don't know why, like, words just, like, sometimes you start thinking about what a word is, and it's just like, oh, nope, I'm leaving your mind for this moment. You can think of any other word except that one. Whew. It's been happening to me a bit today. Don't know why. The ship from Descent. No, I mean, we're not going to incorporate ships from other games if that's what your question is. We might have likenesses, but they are inspired by. We are making sure that all of our assets are clean and original, and also reflective of our capabilities. So, for example, we're not going to just like reproduce something that we did on a previous game that we worked on that we no longer own the IP for. But we might reference it a little. So yeah. Can the player tied up with the Outlaws playing more on the shady side of the galaxy instead of becoming a G&B lackey? This is a wonderful question. So with the reputation that we have, as of right now, it's just dealing with G&B. Now the Outlaws, obviously, they are alive and well through the demilitarized zone, Julio, and there will be a lot of interactions with them in a lot of different degrees. We will have a specific time and a specific place for when we talk more in depth about the reputation systems that we have, and you're going to learn a lot more about different factions that you can meet throughout the game as we get into early access and move forward from there. So basically, I'm giving you a non-answer because it needs to remain vague. We'll get there, I promise. We'll get there. All right, so we got, oh man, I like that. I like that trail. That's pretty good. Is that BW Lambert again? Like so many photos from BW Lambert. This is basically, it's become the BW Lambert stream with all his images. But that looks great. I love the damage effect that we have on the ships, which we've made it look even cleaner. So really, if you enjoy how that's looking on chips, it's even better now. Any more questions before I shut down the stream? Technically, I'm over time. I'll do one more question. One question. Give me a question. Ooh, some concept art. Diss my stream now, basically. One more question. What's the question? I'm looking for it. Who's going to ask it? It better be appropriate. My mom could be watching. That smoke would be dope as a permanent thruster trail. Actually, yeah, that'd be great. I look a lot like your math professor. Oh, crap, they caught me. Oh, man. Well, this is awkward. By the way, I'm going to need that report by next Tuesday. Oh, man, I love the shots of the freelancer ships, too. Just so many wonderful things showing up. These are still placeholder, by the way. They're going to get more detail added to them, but okay. Well, guys, that is it. That is all we got for you today. Really do appreciate everybody for coming out to the stream. It's my pleasure, really, to just talk your face off for any of the questions that you throw our way. It's important for us to be as clear and as transparent as possible. And if you didn't get your question answered, I highly encourage you to drop into the Rockfish Games Discord, into that Ask Questions channel, and just follow up with us. Because, again, it is so important for us to be transparent, to be just direct. This is a huge aspect that we realize is needed in the gaming industry right now. You're our community. You are the ones who breathe and give us life. So thank you for your presence. Thank you for being a part of these streams. Thank you for all of the questions. And don't stop being awesome. And in that process, I won't stop being Eric Schrader, your community ambassador for Rockfish Games. And yeah, don't stop being awesome. We'll see you in the next stream next Friday. Okay, toodles. Ah!
So wait a second. If a Grand Theft Auto wanted system would be dope, wouldn't it? And the OCAR, all the authorities in this sector,